Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are playing Exeggutor, the grass psychic three-headed plant looking thing. So Exeggutor, it's got 95 in HP, 95 in attack, 85 in defense, 55 in speed. It's a little bit on the slower end, but that's okay. And then we've got 125 in special. That's pretty good. With a crit rate of 10.55%, Exeggutor has a base stat total of 455. So that's 5 points more than Lapras had. Lapras we did in the last video. If you have not seen that, go and check it out. Lapras did pretty good. Proud of its result. Now, Exeggutor, looking at our starting set, we've got Barrage and Hypnosis. So not really that great. You know what that means when we have Pokemon that start off with moves that are ineffective against Brock. That automatically means they're going to get a 25 out of 33. So I'll go ahead and spoil that score. But we do have Hypnosis, so I mean we do have something that whenever Onix goes for Bide, we do have something that we can use. And that's actually quite an interesting interaction. So from what I understand, a lot of the times when you try to use status condition moves on Brock, he typically will just immediately use a full heal. However, whenever you use Bide, whenever he uses Bide on his Onix and you go for Hypnosis, he won't do that, which is quite interesting. And you'll get to see that interaction once we get over to the Brock fight. Now, unfortunately, in Exeggutor's Learn set, it doesn't have any grass moves. But also in Generation 1, there really aren't any good grass moves outside of like Petal Dance and Razor Leaf. Those are the best grass moves, really, I think, that are decent power. But there's not like anything better than, obviously on our list, you can see we get Mega Drain and Solar Beam. We will be using Mega Drain. It will be very useful. And we'll get Psychic once we get to Celadon City. So we will have that for Erica as well as Koga and his poison types. And outside of that, we won't be using Egg Bomb, unfortunately, the signature move. Not really going to be any room for that on the set. But yeah, we're going to head into Brock's gym. We're going to take him on. This will probably be a little bit of a long one just because we have to use something like Barrage. But it's okay. It shouldn't be a hard fight. Man, would you look at that effective power of Barrage. The only thing saving us here is the fact that Barrage is a multi-hit move. So, I mean, it's better than just a single hit where we'd have to do this multiple times over multiple turns where Geodude gets multiple times to hit me. However, the good thing is about Exeggutor, it is pretty bulky. So we do have good bulk. We're at 36, excuse me, we're at 36 defense. We've got 10 more than Geodude, which is pretty good. 9 less than the Onix. So we are pretty bulky. That is pretty good. And Barrage obviously helping us get through this Geodude, even though we're going to be coming into Onix at about half health. So good thing about Onix, though, it's not going to go for tackle all the time. So here we put Onix to sleep. It immediately wakes up. We go back to it. And as you can see here, Brock does not use a full heal. So this is a really interesting interaction. The only reason I didn't use it on Geodude is because from what I understood previously, every time I've tried to status condition his Pokemon, he just immediately uses a full heal. And if I'm not mistaken, he just has infinite full heals because in Generation 1, opposing trainers have infinite PP and seemingly infinite heals. So I think he just has an infinite stash of full heals. So that's why I'm saving Hypnosis only for when Onix uses Bide. So as you can see here, I've got Onix to about half HP and I have yet to take any damage. Now at the tail end of that, I did accidentally hit Barrage without putting it to sleep. I didn't know where it was. And as you can see here, I actually ran out of PP with Barrage. But the interesting thing here is that I can just keep spamming Hypnosis. And when Onix is asleep, it obviously can't do any damage. So Hypnosis is just not going to do anything, which allows me to get all the way to Struggle because I have to at this point. I don't have any PP and Barrage, which is exactly what ends up happening. I stall out the rest of my Hypnosis PP and I just have to use Struggle. Luckily, before I run out of PP, I do get it to sleep and I start using Struggle. However, it was using Bide and it continues to use Bide, but Struggle comes through with a critical hit. And before it can do any more damage, we do finish off Brock. So that's going to be a 25 out of 33. Hopping right. Oh, I actually skipped the Misty fight. Very interesting. I don't know how I did that, but as you can imagine, Misty, not hard with a grass type, even though we don't have any grass moves. We did get access to Stomp, so that obviously is going to help. And we also had Hypnosis and all that. So we're kind of skimming through these gym leaders. Surge, nothing to worry about. I don't know how I missed in the editing that I edited out Misty, but that's okay. And obviously we're going to make quick work of Erica. We're a grass type, so Erica's not going to use any status condition moves. Coming into Koga, he has no poison type moves that deal damage. The only thing we would be worried about is Venomoth with its 4 times stab leech life. But even then, I don't think with leech life having such little power, it's not going to do anything to us. So we're going to Psychic the Venomoth and then we actually one-shot it. And we're just going to go right into Sabrina, Stomp the Abra. The other two outspeed, but what do they have that they can use against us? Nothing. Stab. Or not stab, stomp these Pokemon out. Critical hit on the Alakazam. It's going for Psychic. I don't care if it drops my special. I'm not using special moves here. And that gets us through that Gym Leader Gauntlet. So we are up to, what do we have? 6 gym badges now. So it was a little bit of a gauntlet. I wanted to speed through all those because most of those gym fights, they were not challenging. I didn't think I needed to kind of have buffers in between the gyms to kind of explain anything else. I'll kind of like any Pokemon that kind of they kind of just demolish the game. I'm just gonna rapid fire the gym fights off because there's no reason to kind of buffer them. It's kind of gives me a reason to save time. Now, obviously, we're going into a leader like Blaine where we have a type disadvantage, and I mean we can use our stab Psychic, but you know, grass types can definitely get burned up by the fire. We've got 3 fire types. The Ninetales does no flamethrower. Rapidash has Fire Spin, and Arcanine has, I believe, Flamethrower and Fire Blast. So some pretty scary moves coming out of Blaine. Then it could pose a serious threat. Now, however, Exeggutor is pretty bulky, and as you saw in the last video, a Stab Ice Beam from Lapras was not enough to KO an Exeggutor in one hit. So, I mean, if we can get past that, I mean, we do potentially have a chance to get past Blaine without any issues. But we do have some good bulk. So let's get into it. Let's see how it goes. First up is Ninetales. We do outspeed. We go for the Psychic. Does about half. Ninetales is going to go for a Confuse Ray. I'm going to hit myself in Confusion a couple of times. It goes for Flamethrower, and it does massive damage and burns, leaving us at 11 HP. I'm just going to go ahead and reset right there. Now, I am at level 46. I could have leveled up a little bit more. Ninetales continuing to go for the Confusion, but we don't hit ourselves on that go-around. We're going to not hit ourselves again, hit the Rapidash for more than half HP, snap out of Confusion, and we're coming into Arcanine with 128 HP. Hit it with Psychic, it goes for Reflect and then Takedown, which is really weird. I don't know why it does that. I don't think there's really any world where Blaine has good AI and you get past that fight without like resetting multiple times and going to level cap, because Arcanine should have been using Fire Blast. There's no point for it to use Reflect. Anyway, right into Giovanni. Dugtrio's not going to cause us any problems. Persian's not going to cause us any problems. The Nidos are weak to our super effective Stab Psychic. Rhydon 4 times weak to Mega Drain. It will go down from one use of that with a 240 effective power coming out of Mega Drain. That will complete the Pokemon League Challenge. We now have all 8 badges, so let's give a breakdown of our grades. Exeggutor has 25 out of 33 for Brock, 33 out of 33 for Misty, 29 out of 29 for Surge, 37 for Erica, 41 for Koga, 37 for Sabrina, 37 for Blaine, 45 for Giovanni. So far, we have a perfect score for Exeggutor. Now, we just need to clean up the rival. This is our benchmark fight. We don't really have anything for the Exeggutor. We're just going to use Stomp a few times. It doesn't have anything against us either. Mega Drain on the Cloyster will one-shot. That's quite interesting, actually. Psychic on the Magneton. We're going to get hit with Supersonic, but that's okay. We're going to bypass that and knock it out. Kadabra, we have Stomp. It goes for Reflect. We do miss. We're still doing about half damage, even with the reflect up, just a little bit. Oh, and when we get a critical hit there, just a little bit less than half. Flareon, all we've got is Psychic, but I did teach Sleep Powder, so I'm going to go ahead and go for it. It has Smog as well as Flamethrower. It goes for Smog because that's also super effective, and it's just picking super effective moves there. So I put it to sleep, and then we're able to easily clean up. So that is the good thing about Exeggutor. It does have access to Sleep Powder, but let's do the Elite Four. Now, Lorelei is an interesting fight because we do technically have a type advantage, but we also have a type disadvantage because we do have Mega Drain that can heal a good amount of our HP. So all that we took from Dugong, we were able to heal back. We can heal up from the Cloyster. We can also heal up from the Slowbro. And as you can see here, it's going to go for withdrawal. So we're going to full heal all the way from the Slowbro. Jinx comes out. It does outspeed. And I was thinking here, best thing might be to put it to sleep. But I'm just going to go for the Stomp. We do get a critical hit. It hits us with Ice Punch twice. Gets a critical hit on the second one, leaving us 8 HP. We level up, get to 12. So I thought the best move here was to put Lapras to sleep and use a little bit of Mega Drain. And that is how we are going to get past Lorelei. Now, we're going to come right into Bruno. We do have a type advantage here as well. It's going to be a Mega Drain for the Onyxes, Psychic on the fighting types, and that should take care of them. Really easy here. Nothing really to say about these guys because they're pretty trivial. I mean, what do you really have to say about these guys? So, we're going to clean that up. That's Bruno. Now we've got into Agatha. We still have a type advantage here. Nothing really worry about her Pokemon. They don't have any strong poison moves. Arbok does have Acid, but I also have Psychic and I outspeed it, so I'm not really scared of it or anything that Agatha has at this point. So I'm just going to continue to try to use Psychic whenever I don't get pestered by these pesky ghost types with their confusion and sleep status conditions. So annoying. Get past Arbok easily. The Gengar outspeeds, but what does it have? Goes for a super potion. We take it out really easily. Now we've got Lance. Now we don't really have anything good for the Gyarados. I'm just going to go for a neutral stab Psychic. We're going to drop it special. It's going to hit us with a Hyper Beam. We're pretty bulky. We tank that at more than half HP. Going to go for Psychic on the Dragonair. We have Taunt Mimic at this point. It's going to Hyper Beam us, do very negligible damage. And then for this Dragonair, this is the one with Ice Beam, so we are going to Mimic Ice Beam even though it will hit us with Ice Beam. That's okay. We don't get frozen. Go for Ice Beam on the Dragonair. Now, Aerodactyl has Fly and it outspeeds, so it goes for Fly. And obviously, we're not going to tank super effective Stab Fly. So we're going to reset, come back in here, level 55. We're going to set up Reflect this time. I think Reflect will be a little bit better than Sleep Powder going forward. We do have Mimic, so if we do need to pick up Hypnosis off the champion's Exeggutor, we can totally do that. It goes for Dragon Waves, doing significantly less damage than a Hyper Beam would. So that's good for us. We do Psychic on the first Dragonair. Then we're going to Mimic Ice Beam again from the second Dragonair. It'll use Ice Beam, but won't get the freeze. Doesn't do too much damage. We one-shot it with the Ice Beam. Aerodactyl comes in. It will go for Fly again, but we have set up Reflect, so it shouldn't do as much damage. It doesn't. And one use of Ice Beam will KO it. And Dragonite comes out. We outspeed and KO it with a 4-time super effective Ice Beam. That will take care of Lance. Lance has now been dealt with. That is the Elite Four. Coming out of the Elite Four, we've got a perfect 45 out of all Elite Four members. 45 for Lorelei, Bruno, Lance, and Agatha. Now we've just got the champion coming up last, which I don't really think will have too much of an issue. The only thing I notice here is that we do not have anything that will be good against the opposing Exeggutor. We don't have any moves that even do neutral damage at this point. And if I want super effective damage against the Flareon, I'm going to have to Mimic Earthquake from the Sand Slash, which is also resisted by Exeggutor. Grass types do resist ground type moves. So that's also not going to be a good option. So I think this is going to be the second spot where Exeggutor loses points, unfortunately. Now here, as well as the Brock fight, there's really nothing you can do to get around those point deductions. Unfortunately, it's just how the Pokemon is set up with the moves that it has access to. You could argue that I could use something like Hyper Beam, but I don't think that's really the best course of action. I also could have used Egg Bomb, take down Double Edge, but then I have to take damage. Granted, I could heal that back. So you could say I could teach a normal move, but it's 4 points here. And honestly, I don't know if those 4 points will really make a huge difference in Exeggutor's final score. So I don't think it's a huge deal. But anyway, let's hop into Champion Blue. Sandslash up first. We're going to go ahead and mimic Earthquakes for that super effective damage on the Flareon. It hits us with Poison Sting. Now, Poison Sting is super effective, so that is a good thing. We will consistently see the Poison Sting from Sandslash. So, it doesn't do very much damage, and we can come through there with pretty much full HP. Now, I still have Reflect on my set, and I was determining whether or not this would be a good place to set it up. Now, the Alakazam does outspeed, and it can lower my special, and it does. But that does boost my attack stat. However, that's not quite enough to one-hit KO the Alakazam. So we're going to knock it out over 2 turns. And as you can see here, I don't have anything that's good against Exeggutor. However, Psychic is my strongest effective power move. And it also has the chance to lower special. So in this scenario, Psychic would be the best choice. Now, I did click Earthquake, but that's because my special, if you remember, my special was dropped by the Alakazam, so I'm coming in here with lower special, but however, I think Psychic still would be the better option because you do have the chance to lower the enemy's special, which would kind of balance that out. So obviously with the Magneton, we want to go for Earthquake. We don't knock it out on the first try, but we do get it on the second try. The Cloyster gives us a chance to heal. We do get a critical hit, so we do heal quite a bit of damage. So the poison really hasn't made it too much of an impact in this fight. And we do outspeed the Flareon, and Earthquake is enough to finish it off. And with that, we have finished the champion with Exeggutor at level 57. Wow. Really good finish from Exeggutor. Obviously better than Lapras, but also Exeggutor has a little bit better bulk, and I think its attacking stats are a little bit better. It also has the 5-point base stat bump. And it has the ability to heal itself also. So and Flareon is not as scary as Jolteon as well. You gotta also keep that in mind. But coming out of that, for bonus points, Exeggutor will get 10 points for coverage, minus 14 for weaknesses, but plus 12 for resistances, plus 8 for the finish level, plus 5 for the bonus stats in the Psychic category. That'll be 21 bonus points altogether. Calculating everything in, that will give Exeggutor a final score of 530 out of 583 for a percentage of 90.91%. That'll put it into the A tier amongst Psychic types. Now, if we look at the Grass category, Exeggutor is going to get 10 points for base stats for a total of 26. So that'll give it a score of 535 out of 583 for a percentage score of 91.77%. Also going to be in the A tier there. Now let's look at all 151. Exeggutor. Where are we at, Exeggutor? Aren't you towards the bottom of the... I have these Pokemon ordered by the number that are actually the dex entry. So Exeggutor will get 22 base stat total points filtering here. It'll give us a score of 547 out of 583 for a percentage of 93.83%. Going to be in the A tier across the board. Not bad. That will put Exeggutor just behind Omastar on the tier list. And I actually realized when I was doing some of the tier lists, I had Omastar ahead of Gyarados. That's actually not how that should be. Omastar is actually behind Gyarados. I realized this a little too late. I'm not going to go back and fix all the other tier lists that I've already put out. It is what it is. I'm making that known now. Omastar had a worse score than Gyarados. That's been updated, but you're probably only going to see that in some of the future. I don't know if I have it for this one. I can't remember. I do a lot of this stuff in advance, and when I do the voice recording, I don't ever remember how things are. But anyway, that's going to be Exeggutor, A tier finish across the board. Really good finish. Next up on the list, we have Tauros. Tauros should be an interesting one, a normal type. So stay tuned for that one. I'll see you guys then.